here's Brody Brazil.
You know, it's kind of amazing that the Oakland Coliseum complex has existed across 7 different decades, and it's only had one ownership situation, a 50-50 split between the city of Oakland and the county of Alameda. So it's never changed hands, but now, in the span of this calendar year, 2024, it seems like the Coliseum site might be sold 3 different times over. All of this recently coming together, so I wanted to at least explain what's going on here because it is quite complicated. It's been the Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum. So Oakland's half, and let's first touch on Alameda County's half. The county sold their 50% of that site, which, by the way, is not like a diagonal line. There's no east and west or north and south version of the site. It's just a 50% stake in the acreage just east of 880. So Alameda County's half was sold to the Oakland A's back in 2019 for $85 million. The A's were not on the hook immediately for paying for all of that. It was to be done over time. But there was also a clause in that sale that if the A's went forward with any type of relocation, the remaining balance of the $85 million, which was about $40-something million, would be instantly due or within 6 months to the county of Alameda. Sure enough, the county enforced that on the A's. They have apparently earlier this month paid off the remainder of that balance. So the A's recently paid in full their $85 million to own Alameda County's half. So the county is out of owning the Coliseum complex. Now, there is a lawsuit challenging the A's purchase from the county. And by the way, there was even some controversy about this sale because the A's back then said they were buying this land as a backup plan in case Howard Terminal didn't work to literally assure the A's a path to stay in Oakland and build a stadium at the Coliseum complex. Obviously, that is nowhere near their intentions anymore, but that was the case back in 2019. So things have changed. And now the A's own that half, but not for long. So that's one sale that's officially gone through. Now the other side is Oakland's half, the city's half, which has been sold or is now in the process of being sold to AASEG, the African American Sports and Entertainment Group, for at least $105 million. You're seeing the difference of inflation and over time, $85 million back in 2019, probably closer to $115 or $120 million, I think. I'd have to guess. It's weird to put it that it's at a minimum of $105 million, the sale from the city of Oakland to AASEG. This was just announced. AASEG has been in an exclusive negotiating agreement with the city of Oakland for quite some time, so none of this is a surprise. They're not coming out of nowhere. We kind of knew this was going to happen, but it's now been officially announced that this is what's going to happen with the city's half. So you've got 2 different sales here happening, one 50%, the other 50%. And now we're about to get into the third sale that I talked about before. There's more here. Reportedly, via friend of the program, friend of the channel, I should say, Casey Pratt, ABC7 San Francisco, a term sheet and a sale price that's already targeted between the A's and AASEG has been agreed upon. This, of course, for the county's half, right, that the A's bought back in 2019, is reported at about $125 million. So the A's are essentially taking their half, which they've just paid off, and are set to at least talk about turning it around to AASEG, which would now have AASEG as the sole owner of the Coliseum complex to start developing it. Again, this is from Casey. This makes sense for a lot of different reasons. I'll kind of run through all of that right here, right now. So for the A's, what does this mean? Well, if they really want to be done with the complications of Oakland, the politics of Oakland, the lawsuit, like we said before, that is challenging even their purchase of the land from the county, that's still going on. That's still several months away, I think, from a resolution. But if they sell this here and now, that lawsuit obviously doesn't matter anymore. They also would gain $125 million instantly in cash flow as they're trying to build a stadium in Las Vegas or do other things or build a payroll and a team. I mean, cash flow would help them in a multitude of situations. And they're also obviously getting $40 million in profit from $85 million to reportedly $125 million. So instant cash that they did not have before. It was tied up in the assets of owning the land. Now it's cash that they can do whatever they'd want with. For the city of Oakland, it is a positive in a sense that they can hand over the Coliseum to an actual property developer. Now, it might seem like they lose a little bit of control over this and what does and doesn't happen, but this is what happens when you sell the land and you sell it to somebody that you have singled out as wanting to develop the property. And Oakland is not a developer, but AASEG is bound to be the developer of this property. Also for Oakland, you cash out. You gain $105+ million, or maybe 110 or 15 or 20 in cash flow towards city improvements and services, and we certainly realize how much the city of Oakland could use that cash influx right now. For AASEG, what does this mean? Well, they gain control of the entire Coliseum site. They don't have to worry about an unwilling partnership, and the A's don't know what they're going to do, or they're too busy in some other city, Sacramento or Las Vegas or elsewhere. They kind of just get to call the shots. Essentially, if they own the land outright 100%, it's theirs to do with. And they also get all of this, I think, for reasonable prices, buying one half for about 105 or 10. Like I said, we don't know that exact amount. And the other half for reportedly $125 million. So let's just say at the max, it's $250 million for the site. All things considered with Bay Area land, and I'm not going to do, the average acreage cost here, but it's valuable land. It's got a BART stop. It's got a freeway access. It's centrally located. Where else do you find that big a chunk of land in the immediate Bay Area? You certainly don't. That's shovel ready and that already has a baseball stadium or a football venue outdoors and an indoor basketball arena or whatever. So you've got some existing pieces already on the site. You'd think that most of the infrastructure is already taken care of, and sewage and water and electrical already to the site. So I think for the price, I'm guessing it's probably reasonable. That's my estimate. But let's also address here for the public, like for you, somebody who might be watching this in Northern California or the Bay Area or Oakland specifically, what does this mean for you? Well, you hope that the Coliseum land, because of all this, gets maximized and developed. Let's be perfectly honest, with just a baseball team playing on that site, it's kind of a waste for the other 240 days a year, I think, if I'm doing that right. There's no event, and it's just an empty parking lot and an empty stadium, and it just sits there and ages. You could do something so much more valuable on that Coliseum land, even if you keep the stadium and you build in the parking lots. You don't need all of that all the time. So the hope is for the public, there is a benefit in that way. Housing, jobs, opportunity, entertainment, all of the above. So housing and other year-round usage is what you hope for. My question from the baseball side of this: will they save any space? Will they reserve any space on this land? And I don't know the answer to this yet. I'm asking like a true question. Will they save any space for future sports venues at the Coliseum site? Because at this point, all of the approvals for Howard Terminal, the land usage approval, the port priority use, all of that stuff has expired and gone away. So in the chance that Oakland could ever secure a baseball team to come back and to be back in Oakland, it's likely to happen at the Coliseum site. And if you pave over the parking lot, no, wait, that's not a right reference, but you know what I'm saying. If you commit all that land, all the acreage at the Coliseum site to something else, there's nowhere else for a baseball team to play in the city of Oakland. And I also want to point out too, I know that AASEG at one point had talked about trying to get an NFL team to come back to Oakland, or the WNBA team. I mean, that's clearly happening now in San Francisco, and their practice facility of the Valkyries is going to be in Oakland. So I do not think the WNBA or the Warriors would certainly even allow that to happen. And the NFL is, in my opinion, kind of a pipe dream. And baseball's even tough still too, but that is, of all things, probably one of your better chances, all things respectively considered. So what will they save space for on this site, if anything, as AASEG plans to develop it? So I just wanted to spell all that out. The Coliseum, yes, has officially been sold once and twice and now maybe 3 times after never changing hands over all the years between the dual ownership. Things are certainly changing, and they're changing quick. Thumbs up down below. Since you've made it here to the end of this video, you know I'd really appreciate that. That'll help me in this video and this channel. And by the way, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button down below right now also, because you know what? I would love to see you back here next time. See you then.